Hello and welcome to my course where I teach you how to draw in bite-sized lessons. This is lesson number 11. If you want to get to lesson number 1, I'm going to leave a link up here for you. Today we're chatting about cross-hatching. In the previous lesson we saw how you can draw entire drawings using only lines. So today we're going to take it a step further by learning all about cross-hatching and cross-contour hatching. Cross-hatching is, as its name implies, hatches that cross each other. Cross-hatching takes your ability to create different tonal values on the paper to a whole new level because it gives you more tonal values to play with. Traditionally, we would hatch along the width or the length of the object, but you can also hatch in different directions like this. If we now hatch in different directions over each other, we can finally control the tonal value. The more we cross-hatch over each other, the less the paper shines through, the darker the tonal value we see. Traditionally, this would be the only way to control the tonal value, but practically there are 3 more ways that you can also control the tonal value. 1. You can vary the distance between your hatches. 2. You can vary the line weight. In other words, varying the thickness of the lines that you hatch. The broader the line, the less paper will shine through, the darker the area will appear. There are 2 ways to vary your line thickness. The first is to change between your round point and your chisel point pencil. The second is to start with the light tonal values and a sharp round point. Then, as the tip of the pencil becomes blunt, you move to the darker and darker tonal values in the drawing. 3. You can also vary the pressure you apply on the pencil. Here you can see how same width hatching at different pressures appear to have different tonal values. What I usually do when starting a cross-hatching drawing is to follow the width and the length contours, and if that doesn't give me enough contrast, then I'll add hatches in different directions until I do. In other words, your light tonal values may only have hatches in one direction. Then the darker you go, the more directions you need to add in order to cover up the paper. Let's use this knowledge to create a tonal chart using cross-hatching. There's a link to print out the cross-hatching tonal chart worksheet in the description below. The left-hand block is white, so that remains empty. In the second block, use a hard pencil. I'm using a 4H and a soft pressure to hatch in the block. Hatch in as many directions as you need to get the tonal value correct. In the next block, use your medium pencil. I'm using a B. Then use the same pressure and the same width of hatches to hatch in this block. In the next block, use the same pressure and hatch widths, but this time add more hatch directions to cover up more of the paper. In the next block, using the same width hatches, hatch in this block, but this time press hard on the pencil. For the last 2 blocks, use your dark pencil, mine is a 6B. This time hatch closer together using a medium pressure on the pencil. Then for the last block, press hard and hatch very close together to fill up the paper. There are 2 more rows of tonal charts below this. Feel free to practice making tonal charts using only line weight and only pencil pressure. In the previous lesson, we saw how curving our hatches to hug the contour of the object can give you the illusion of the object's shape in your drawing. You can do the same with cross-hatching, and this is called cross-contour hatching. Let's use this polystyrene ball as an example. The traditional way would be to hatch along the width or the length of an object, but you can also hatch in other directions as well. Your hatches don't need to be straight across the object either. They could be at an angle. And this is when it becomes important to follow the contour of the object while drawing your lines. As you can see, they change depending on the angle at which you're looking at the lines. With a rounded object like a ball, you can also hatch radially like this. Notice that these lines also curve to the shape of the object. Here's an example of width and length cross-hatching. Here's an example with radial hatching. Now let's add some diagonal hatches as well. As you can see, as long as you follow the contour of the object, you can hatch in any direction. So let's take a look at a few examples so you can see what I mean. In this cup, you can see how I've worked along the entire length, top to bottom, to get a basic tonal value over the cup, then shorter and shorter curved hatches along the width to show the rounding and shading of the cup. With the teddy bear, you can see how a combination of hatching directions have been used. On the arm, I've used contour hatches along the length and the width, while on the head, I've used a straight diagonal hatching technique. And in this drawing of the fish, I've used only diagonal hatching. Hatching is also great for showing texture in your drawings. Here you can see how beautiful loose cross hatches add a fluffy hair texture to this panda drawing. And here, selective hatching even creates the illusion that these grapes are reflective. Now let's put this cross-hatching knowledge into practice by drawing a Rubik's Cube. Start with your hard pencil and sketch out the outlines of the cube. Don't worry too much if your sketch is not perfectly accurate. This is just a practice drawing. Now separate the cube into its blocks. Then add a sticker onto each block, rounding the corners of the stickers as you do. There's too little of the plastic to cross-hatch, so just use your soft pencil to outline the stickers. And leave a little gap on the rounded edges where the two blocks meet. Then fill in these little gaps afterwards with a lighter tonal value by pressing light on the pencil. And this will give the illusion of the corners being shiny. If you're enjoying this lesson, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, let me know what you thought about the lesson in the comments below. Do you find cross-hatching hard or difficult? Now let's start cross-hatching the stickers. This block here is very light, so use your hard pencil and a soft pressure to hatch in that tonal value. And keep your hatches reasonably far apart. The two blocks next to it are slightly darker, so press a little harder on the pencil as you hatch. And I think we can stick to the same width hatches as the lighter block. These two blocks here are the same tonal value as the previous two, so hatch them in the same way. The next two blocks, however, are even darker, so apply a little bit more pressure to the pencil and hatch a little bit closer together as well. Don't press too hard though, as we still have more darker tonal values to go. The center block on the side has the same tonal value as these last two top blocks, so hatch that in the same way. The right hand block is the same tonal value as these two blocks, so match their tonal value. And the left hand block has the same tonal value as the very first block we hatched, so back to a light pressure again. Complete the rest of the blocks by comparing their tonal value with the previously hatched blocks and matching them or going darker as necessary. Now move over to your soft pencil. This piece of plastic is very dark, so press hard and hatch very close together to fill up the paper. And the same with this corner. The last two corners, however, are slightly lighter, so leave a little bit more of the paper showing through. Alright, let's stand back and see what does our Rubik's Cube look like. Well done, you've cross-hatched your first drawing. That wasn't so difficult, was it? It was actually pretty fun. In the next lesson, I'm going to teach you how to use flicks to draw animals. That's going to be an incredible lesson, so I'll leave a link to that for you right here. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next lesson.